Welcome to Unknown America. Thank you for tuning in. Today we will focus on the Luxor Casino and Hotel in Las Vegas, a structure that sits squarely at the intersection of mysterious and tacky, quite possibly my favorite intersection of all. The Las Vegas Strip, from cruising altitude, looks like a row of trinkets and toys. You can see the replica of the Eiffel Tower, the replica of the Statue of Liberty, a Ferris wheel, the hot air balloon perched on top of the Hotel Paris. If you're flying in at night, they all emit a neon glow. Flying into the city, especially for the first time, inspires a weird joy, like waking up on Christmas morning. You want to pick all the buildings up and drop them in your pocket one at a time and listen to them jingle as you walk away from the Christmas tree. Then there's the Luxor. The Luxor is a 30-story hotel and casino on the Las Vegas Strip in Paradise, Nevada. It opened in 1993 and is named for the city of Luxor in Egypt. Announced by Circus Enterprises in 1991, it was referred to as Project X to the public until groundbreaking in April of 1992, when it was finally known as Luxor, a project name that would stick. At the time, it was one of the largest glass and metal projects ever. Costing about $400 million to build, it was financed entirely by petty cash earned by other Circus Enterprises, and was funded by no outside investors at all. The Luxor seems to know exactly what it is, and exudes as much absurd bravado as an inanimate structure can. It is visually striking, a massive obsidian pyramid with a blinding beam of light shooting out the top. Its presence on the Strip is almost menacing and certainly obstinate. It's guarded by a replica of the Sphinx that is larger than the original Sphinx in Egypt, with a much more polished face, comparatively brand new and frequently restored. I'm currently at the Luxor as I write this, sitting at a desk looking out from my room's window onto the Las Vegas Strip. Since the room is on the edge of a pyramid, like all the other hotel rooms in the Luxor, the wall takes on an acute slant and is decorated with angular windows. This makes looking down at the ground below a bit difficult and strange, and waking up in the room even stranger. In that brief moment between sleep and consciousness where I question where I am for a moment, I thought the wall was caving in on me. The Luxor is one of the largest pyramids in the world, and certainly the most tailored to American sensibilities. It boasts a 120,000 square foot casino, 20,000 square feet of convention space, 4 swimming pools, a wedding chapel, 29 retail stores, and inclined elevators, which were referred to as some of the most unique in the world in Popular Mechanics magazine. I have taken the elevators several times, sometimes for business and sometimes for pleasure. I can confirm that they are relatively unusual, very fast, and of an uncanny motion, inducing nausea in me every time. Perhaps the most striking feature of the Luxor is the beam of white light that shoots out the tip a blinding cord that extends deep into the night sky. It is so bright that it literally has its own ecosystem. It attracts millions and millions of moths and insects. The moths and insects attract birds, bats, and even owls that feed on them, taking special care not to land or even fly directly over the light, because allegedly doing so would cook them alive in a matter of seconds. If a person looked directly at the light from above, they would go blind nearly instantly. The chamber that the 39 7,000-watt bulbs are housed in sits about 50 feet below the pyramid's tip. It is monitored by 2 employees at all times that are tasked with ensuring the bulbs are running as expected. The chamber is said to get up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and the bulbs so fragile and powerful that they require a military-grade blast suit to change out. Take that last fact with a grain of salt, though. The information was dispensed to me by an eager hotel employee, and given the hotel's occasional inclination to stretch the truth, who knows where they heard it. In the 2000s, the Luxor Hotel issued a press release which stated the light was visible from space, as alleged by astronaut Daniel Brandenstein, who claimed he could see it from space on all 4 of his missions. This has been disproven multiple times. The hotel never officially retracted the statement, and as a result it is a bit of common knowledge that is dispensed by residents of Las Vegas frequently. In fact, on my visit I heard it twice, once from a guest standing behind me in line to check in, and another from the man at the airport who rented me my car when I inquired about the hotel. While you can't see it from space, you can see it from a plane at cruising altitude from up to 300 miles away. You can see it in Los Angeles quite plainly. It's such a spectacle that, to me, it overshadows the Luxor itself. No pun intended. The scent of the Luxor is inescapable. It was engineered to be an ambient perfume of sorts, and you can indeed smell it in almost every room. It has a tuberose core, bright and piercing, with a faint amber feebly attempting to add some dimension. In the lobby, cigarette smoke waltzes through it, a recipe for an instant headache. While there isn't an abundance of information about it made public, there have been many knockoffs produced and sold by fans of the casino or fans of making money. I purchased a knockoff. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. Apparently, ambient scent is not something that's unique to the Luxor. It's actually quite common not only in Las Vegas, but in casinos in general. A common myth, though, is that casinos pump cold, clear oxygen into the air to keep you awake and gambling. It is a bit of pseudoscience that has stood the test of time, repeated over and over again. While this isn't true, casinos are allegedly kept very cold to achieve the same effect. This must be true of the Luxor. It's as cold inside as it looks on the outside, glassy and black and refracting light. This evening, 5 intoxicated gentlemen stumbled down the hallway in front of my room, extolling praises for the Luxor's in-house topless review called Fantasy. One referred to it as a great fucking show, and then dropped a little bottle of Fireball whiskey, open, empty, that presumably came from their room's minibar. From his compatriot came a statement shockingly blunt. "You know about the suicides?" They loaded onto the elevator, and I didn't get to hear the response. Upon my own research, I learned that the Luxor was a magnet for unconfirmed suicide stories, and is even roped into various Las Vegas ghost tours. While there have been a handful of confirmed suicides, likely no more than any other hotel in Vegas, it has also become a figure of myth. Supposedly, people jump from the top floor straight down into the atrium at a frequency extreme enough for the Luxor to be described with titles like The Dark Pyramid. One ghost tour website describes the victims as tortured souls that met their end amongst the mass-produced furniture, dusty remotes, and stained sheets. They seem to be stuck in this world, unable to move on. Unless the Luxor has a full-time team covering up suicides, I can find little to no real reports of as many suicides to warrant a ghost tour. There was also a report that 2 construction workers died constructing the Luxor, but as expected, there are no reports of this occurring, and ghost tour websites write that the Luxor likely concealed the deaths to protect the hotel's reputation. When flying above it at the right angle, overhead, the Luxor loses its three-dimensional shape and looks like a massive crater consuming the strip. Sometimes I get nervous that the beam of light that crowns it will burn through the plane like a laser. Nothing so sinister ever occurs, but the potential is like the Luxor itself, an illusion constructed by fragments of myth and assumption. This has been Unknown America. Take care of yourself, and stay away from black pyramids.